artery. The subclavian artery, which is the introduction. We know this is the chief artery of the upper limb. As the subclavian artery crosses the outer border of the first rib, it becomes the axillary artery, which supply the upper limb. But through its branches, this subclavian artery supply the lower part of the neck, brain, spinal cord, thoracic wall, and the abdominal wall. Now, the origin. Compare the origin of the both side of the subclavian artery. Like the common carotid artery, it differs on the both side. On the right side, it is a branch of the brachiocephalic trunk behind the right sternoclavicular joint. So, it has the only cervical part. It is present at the root of the neck. While on the left side, it is a direct branch of the arch of the aorta. So, like the common carotid artery left side, it has the thoracic part. Then it ascends behind the left sternoclavicular joint. So, this left subclavian artery has the thoracic as well as the cervical part. In the cervical region, the both subclavian artery arches laterally with the convexity is directed above and it rests on the superior surface of the first rib, and when it crosses the outer border of the first rib on the both sides, it becomes the axillary artery. Now the division. This subclavian artery on the both sides is divided by the muscles, that is the scalenus anterior muscles. If you remember the first rib, on the inner border of the first rib there is the scalene tubercle. On this scalene tubercle there is a insertion of this scalenus anterior muscles. So this scalenus anterior muscles divide this subclavian artery into the three parts: first part, second part, and the third part. If you see the first part, this first part is from the origin to the medial border of the scalenus anterior muscles, means it is the first part. Now the second part, that is behind the scalenus anterior muscles. The big part which is present behind the scalenus anterior muscles, it is the second part of the subclavian artery. And the third part, that from the lateral border of the scalenus anterior muscle to the outer border of the first rib. This is the third part of the subclavian artery. Now, branches of the subclavian artery. It total gives 5 branches. 5 branches. It is the vertebral artery, then internal thoracic artery, then thyrocervical trunk, costocervical trunk, and the last occasionally present, it is the dorsal scapular artery. These are the 5 branches given by this subclavian artery. The first 3 branches, that is the vertebral artery, internal thoracic artery, and the thyrocervical trunk, takes origin from the first part of the subclavian artery. These three branches from the first part. Now this costocervical trunk on the left side, it takes origin from the first part of the subclavian artery. On the left side, it is the branch of the first part. It is the costocervical trunk. While on the right side, it is the branch of the second part of the subclavian artery. So this costocervical trunk branch vary on the left side as well as the right side. Now this dorsal scapular artery. This dorsal scapular artery is occasionally present. Now please see the important feature of the three part of this subclavian artery. The first part, this is the deepest part of the subclavian artery, and this part forms the base of the scapulovertebral triangle. What is scapulovertebral triangle? It will discuss later on. So this first part forms the base of the scapulovertebral triangle, and it is the deepest part, and it gives the three branches: first, second, and the third on the right side, while on the left side it is the costocervical trunk takes also origin from the first part. Now the second part. This part passes behind the scalous anterior muscles. It passes through a triangle. This triangle is known as the scalene triangle or the subclavian triangle. This scalene triangle is anteriorly bounded by the scalous anterior muscles, while the posteriorly it is bounded by the scalous medius muscles, while the floor of this triangle is bounded by the superior surface of the first rib. Means this second part of the subclavian artery separates the scalous anterior muscles from the scalous medius muscles. Through this triangle there are the three structures passes, that are the three trunks of the brachial plexus: upper trunk, middle trunk, and the lower trunk. The upper and the middle trunk are situated above towards the apex of this triangle, while the lower trunk is situated behind this second part of the subclavian artery. Now on the third part. This third part is the easily accessible part of the subclavian artery. It is the most superficial part of the subclavian artery, and this part of the subclavian artery is present in the posterior triangle of the neck. Generally, this part gives no branches. Occasionally, if the branch origin, it is the dorsal scapular artery. Dorsal scapular artery takes from this third part, same like the second part. The second part on the right side gives the costocervical trunk, while on the left side it gives no branches. And the first part, it gives the 3 on the right side and the 4 on the left side branches of the subclavian artery. Now some important relations of the subclavian artery. This subclavian artery is situated in front of the apex of the lung, covering with the cervical pleura and the suprapleural membrane. So all the three parts posterior relation is almost common. The relation vary is the anterior relations. If you see the first part, anterior relations, like the common carotid artery, this anterior part is overlapped with the sternocleidomastoid, sternothyroid, and the sternomastoid muscles. Then it is anteriorly related with the carotid sheath along with its structures. That are the structures present in the carotid sheath, that is the vagus nerve and the common carotid artery along with the internal jugular vein. Now there is a difference. On the left side, the subclavian artery is related with the thoracic duct anteriorly, because this thoracic duct is present on the left side, while The left side, it is the phrenic nerve. The phrenic nerve, this is the phrenic nerve. It crosses obliquely the scalenus anterior muscles from lateral to the medial side. On the left side, it comes anteriorly to the first part of the subclavian artery. Now the second part, anterior relations, it is the scalenus anterior muscles along with the sternocleidomastoid muscles. Then the phrenic nerve is anteriorly related with the second part along with the subclavian vein. This is the subclavian vein which is present in front of the scalenus anterior muscles. Now the third part, this third part which is present in the posterior triangle, it is anteriorly related with the transverse cervical and the suprascapular vessels. These two branches, they are the branches of the thyrocervical trunk. We will discuss later on. So this is the anterior relations, important relations of the first, second and the third part. While the posterior relations, it is posteriorly, the first part is related with the apex of the lung along with the cervical pleura and the suprapleural membrane. The second part, posteriorly related with the apex of the lung, cervical pleura and the suprapleural membrane along with a part of the scalenus medius muscles, which forms the posterior boundary of the scalene triangle. So in the second part, it is the lower trunk of the brachial plexus is also situated posteriorly. Now the third part of the subclavian artery is related with the apex of the lung along with the cervical pleura.